Straight ahead on 12 News, looking to beat the heat, we'll show you a place to avoid if you're trying to cool off. Then, Destination London. The Paralympic athletes who trained in Golden Valley compete for the gold. But first, a late night wake-up call.
We were awakened to hear our doorbell at about 11:45, midnight.
Why this Maple Grove homeowner was thankful to see police. 12 News starts right now. Area police take extra measures after a summer spike in home and car burglaries. Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Johnson.
And I'm Alexandra Renslow. From Golden Valley to Maple Grove and throughout the metro, police are warning residents to lock doors and keep garages shut. That's after a dramatic rise in burglaries. But now some stepped-up efforts could be paying off. Kathy Shones may have just dodged a bullet.
We were awakened to hear our doorbell at about 11:45, midnight, which was, of course, very unusual.
In her sleepy Maple Grove neighborhood, Kathy and her husband awoke to find a police officer at the door.
The officer at that time indicated that our garage door was open.
The garage door open in the middle of the night, cars inside, and the service door to the house unlocked. An open invitation to visitors.
We had been vigilant about closing it. Obviously, we weren't that night.
We're calling property owners in the middle of the night. We're knocking on doors and saying, your garage door's open, can you please close it? And this is why.
A rise in home burglaries across the metro this summer, 181 in Maple Grove alone, have police on the watch, alerting residents day and night.
Most of those home burglaries are through open garage doors into residences themselves.
Arrests are being made. In Golden Valley, this St. Paul woman was one of 3 people picked up recently for alleged home and car burglaries.
Phone calls.
And Maple Grove police have had some success too.
We have also made some significant arrests over the last 3 months. Some of those arrests, I'm guessing, are helping us lower the number of burglaries.
In Maple Grove, burglaries are down this month, but it's still happening, and these crimes are 100% preventable.
It's a crime of opportunity that could statistically almost go to zero if we close our garage doors and take our property out of vehicles.
Kathy Shones is grateful for the knock at her door and the reminder to shut out any possibility for crime.
It would not have been a good situation. We would have been, unfortunately, an easy mark for a burglar at that point.
The most common items stolen in Maple Grove are electronics, purses, and golf clubs. Swimmers hoping to head to Worth Lake Beach in Golden Valley will have to splash around somewhere else.
Renee Bonneau explains why they're being told to keep out.
Ooh, a really cool rock memes. Look at that.
Wednesday morning, Amanda Chalkeski and her kids joined some friends at Worth Lake Beach to hang out and beat the heat.
It's a great facility. It's really nice. A nice swimming beach and nice park, so it's kind of got the combination, which is great.
But when they got here, they weren't happy with what they found waiting in the water.
There are a lot of seagull feathers and other birds and other things just, strewn about in the water, and we wanted nothing to do with it, so.
Slightly gross. It needs a mouthful of feathers.
Turns out they could have gotten a mouthful of something even worse. Earlier this week, the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board found high levels of E. coli in the water and temporarily closed the beach.
According to state guidelines, bacteria levels over 1,260 warrant a beach closing. The level here on Monday was well over 1,900.
A spokeswoman for the park board says it's an unusual spike, likely caused by a higher number of feathered friends hanging out at the lake since the start of migration season.
I think the geese, that makes a lot of difference.
Absolutely.
You know, when they're swimming and going to the bathroom and all, and then stuff all goes in the water.
Renata Ringsven says she and her granddaughter will just take a dip somewhere else.
I think we'll probably go down to Cedar Lake.
Others are still taking a chance.
One woman said she just didn't think it was a problem, as long as you didn't drink the water. So we disagreed, but.
The Minneapolis Park Board tests its swimming beaches every week. Last week's bacteria level at Worth Lake Beach was 413. The 2 weeks before that, less than 11.
It's good to know, have that peace of mind if you're going to come, that they're checking it.
At Worth Lake Beach, Renee Bonneau, 12 News.
The Minneapolis Park Board retested the beach on Wednesday. The test for E. coli takes 24 hours. The beach will reopen when the level falls within state guidelines. 7 years after Katrina devastated the Gulf Coast, another weaker storm is moving in.
And a Plymouth man again finds himself in the storm zone. Tropical storm Isaac washed ashore east of New Orleans with 75-mile-per-hour winds and a wall of water 11 feet high. Barry Altman is a Red Cross volunteer in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, where flooding is a major concern.
Right now, we have people who've evacuated in advance of the storm. What we don't know yet is what's happened to the people who did not evacuate. And when we find the storm, has moved through, then we're going to be able to go out and do our disaster assessment and determine the needs of the people who are remaining behind.
As right now, Red Cross response trucks are staying parked because of high winds. Now, this is the 21st time that Altman has been called on to set up communications in a disaster zone.
A Golden Valley motorcyclist faces a felony charge of fleeing a police officer after a high-speed chase on Interstate 94. State Patrol says 25-year-old Nathan Nishizuka was speeding when troopers tried to pull him over. Instead, authorities say he sped up and pushed the motorcycle to speeds above 120 miles an hour. When he got off the freeway in Minneapolis, patrol officers used their squads to pin the motorcycle against the wall. According to the criminal complaint, Nishizuka told police he made, quote, the stupidest decision of his life. He could face a fine and up to 3 years in prison.
It's more bleak, those words from Brooklyn Park Councilmember Mike Trepanier as the city plans its financial future. The city is currently working to adopt its 2013 budget. Under the proposed budget, residents would see a 0% tax levy increase on the median valued home of $156,000. The city council could still lower that proposed levy. The city's amended 2013 budget is expected to go up by $1 million, largely driven by investments in public safety.
Yeah, the costs have gone up quite a bit every year. That doesn't mean that the improvements in public safety, for example, aren't worth it. I'm not saying that at all.
According to city staff, assessed home values in Brooklyn Park are expected to bottom out in 2015.
And Brooklyn Park is proposing to add new police officers in 2013. The city has budgeted $220,000 for 3 additional police officers. That would bring the force up to 108 officers. The city didn't add any new officers in 2012 or 2011, but it did add 2 new officers in 2010 and 5 officers in 2009. Public safety makes up close to half of Brooklyn Park's budget. Well, the crowds, the calories, the cost, perhaps 3 things not to like about the fair.
But up next, we'll have some money-saving tips to put the fun back in the fair. And then a little later in sports, a local boys soccer team looks to build on its 2011 trip to the state tournament.
But first, it's your AccuWeather forecast. Most Minnesotans know that you can spend a little money at the fair, more than a little.
More than a little, correct. Once you get in, though, there are some free things to do. Reporter Shannon Slatton shares a few free state fair activities that you might not know about in today's Money Savers.
You have one more weekend left to enjoy the Minnesota State Fair, and if you do go, make sure you check out these 5 things to do that are absolutely free.
Every year when we're planning an annual state fair, we're always thinking about what new free elements can we incorporate to make the fair an even better value for people coming out here.
From music to performances, check out the free shows on several stages throughout the fairgrounds.
The fair zone stages have over 100 different performers with over 50 different genres of music.
The State Fair books performances on 7 stages, but different groups also schedule their own shows.
Free entertainment is everywhere at the fair, and it's all built right into your admission ticket price.
You can also see living history in action in Heritage Square.
The log cabin here in Heritage Square is one of the best hidden secrets of the fair.
Visit the Pioneer Log Cabin to see how people lived 100 years ago.
We try to do as accurate a depiction of pioneer life as we can here in the middle of the state fair.
There are several artifacts on site, as well as demonstrations like woodworking and blacksmithing. A new exhibit this year is the Great Big Sandbox. Here, kids can play in the sand for as long as they want, and it's completely free.
It's also a place for mom and dad to kind of rest their feet. We've got some picnic tables there where you can stop and kind of relax for a while the kids are creative and hopefully build some blue ribbon sandcastles.
Sing your heart out at this exhibit that was so popular when it debuted last year. It's back in 2012. The Giant Sing-Along is a field of microphones where you can tackle your karaoke fear without having to get up on stage alone. Finally, play the alphabet game at where else but Alphabet Forest. Come here and pick up a pamphlet to play, go through the fairgrounds matching letters to signs, and bring it back here to win a blue ribbon. Kids can play word games, meet a Minnesota author, or make a free craft to take home. You can even create your own souvenir here at the photo booth when you're done using State Fair letters. For Money Savers, Shannon Slatton, 12.
And another free thing to see is the daily parade that weaves throughout the fairgrounds. It starts every day at 2 o'clock and it features high school marching bands, floats, animals, and special attractions. The Champlin Park High School Marching Band competes on Friday. Almost makes you want to go to the fair, right? Bear the crowds and go to the fair.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Do the free stuff.
Still ahead, why it's an exciting time at Golden Valley's Courage Center.
But first in sports, our prep football training camp report takes a look at the Brooklyn Center Centaurs. John Jacobson is in next. John Jacobson with Sports Now, the Maple Grove boys soccer team. No losses so far this year, only a couple of games under their belt, but they have a lot of new faces.
1-0-1 coming into Wednesday night's play, and I think some high expectations for this season too. Maple Grove's boys soccer team made it all the way to the state semifinals last season before losing. It's a new look this fall after a lot of talent from that 2011 team graduated. Just a few players who saw regular playing time at the varsity level are back, but it's made for some good competition for spots as the younger players stepped it up in tryouts and preseason workouts.
Yeah, absolutely, because, everyone's got a potential to be on the team, but even the older kids, it's not a lock. The younger kids have a lot of talent, and, there's a lot of kids that can play, and it'll be fun to see how this year goes.
I do think we have potential. It's really a combination of kind of some older guys, some seniors that have been waiting their turn in the program and have done a good job to support the past years, as well with some younger guys coming up, some sophomores and even a couple of ninth graders that are showing that they have signs of what it takes to be on the big field. But experience is pretty key, and they'll get it quick this year. So.
Maple Grove enters Wednesday night's game against Armstrong with a 1-0-1 record. The goal is to work toward becoming a potential state tournament team by season's end. And the success of the program last fall does have a carryover effect.
Yeah, I feel so. I feel like the kids understand that it can be done, it's possible, and we've done it before, so it really boosts them.
I think it does, Some of the kids who were on that team last year know what it's like and how it felt to win, and, they can bring that mentality this year to all of our games and all the younger kids as well.
We'll have highlights of Maple Grove's match against Armstrong Thursday starting at 4 here on 12 News. Well, after posting a 5-5 record in 2010, the Brooklyn Center football team slipped to 2-7 in 2011. How will the Centaurs fare this fall? Here's today's prep training camp report. Head coach George Leistico calls this a building year. The loss of 17 seniors and not a huge turnout for early season practices leaves the Centaurs without a lot of returning players.
It's a story of Brooklyn Center, and I'm really tired of it, so we got to really just get on each other and get them out here.
The numbers are just generally down, but we got some talented young guys, some 9th, 10th graders who are pretty impressive for their age. It'll be, it's going to be really fun to see how they develop. If we can keep them around for 4 years, it bodes really well for our future.
Just 2 starters are back from 2011, both on defense. Key players include junior linebacker Tyler Joels, who will likely see time on the offensive line too, and linebacker Tyrone Carter, who will be in the mix at running back. There is some talent at BC, especially in the younger grade levels.
I see a lot of talent in our guys, but I think we just got to work a little harder and believe in ourselves. But yeah, I see talent. I don't really look at age because I got thrown in there as a small person, as a 9th grader. You know, I got smacked around a little bit, but after the first few plays, they'll learn.
The coaching staff said the team's defense looked strong in the Centaurs scrimmage last weekend, with the young offense needing time to come around. Expect more of an emphasis on the running game this season.
2 years ago, in 2010, we were a spread option team and ran the ball about 80% of the time. And last year we got away from that for a number of reasons. And now we feel like we have the personnel to get back to what we do.
Here's the skinny on the Centaurs. They won twice in the regular season a year ago before dropping their playoff opener to Mayer Lutheran. Brooklyn Center opens the season in the peak of the Thursday afternoon heat, a 5 o'clock kickoff at Minnehaha Academy. In 2004, Channel 12 began honoring former high school athletes and coaches from the area with the creation of our 12 Sports Hall of Fame. This weekend, 3 new members are inducted. You can watch the Hall of Fame show this Labor Day weekend on Channel 12. It'll air at various times, starting Saturday afternoon and continuing through early next Tuesday afternoon. Watch it on Channel 12 at 30 minutes past the hour, following 12 News Weekend. You can also catch it on our website at 12.tv. First airing is Saturday afternoon at 4:30. Have to catch up with a few local former outstanding athletes. You'll have to tune in this weekend to find out who, though.
I bet it's fun for you.
It was, yes, absolutely.
Catch up. Thanks, John.
Thank you, John. Excitement builds at a Golden Valley nonprofit.
The CY Courage Center is keeping a close eye on athletes across the pond. And finally, the London Olympics may be over, but the Paralympics are just getting underway.
And Golden Valley's Courage Center will be well represented this year. 11 of the 16 Paralympic athletes, coaches, and team leaders from Minnesota who are at this year's London Games have been associated with Courage Center's athletic programs at least at one point in their lives. The Rehabilitation Center has set up a television in the lobby to keep track of the games, and staff members say they couldn't be more proud of the athletes' accomplishments.
We're really excited about it. It's a nice thing to be able to get behind all our athletes that are over there, and the fact that we have such a large portion of the U.S. Paralympic team that's over there right now is pretty unique to an organization.
The Paralympic Games run through September 9th, and Courage Center says it plans a welcome home celebration for the athletes when they return. So good luck to all of them. And that'll do it. That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
We leave you with the special State Fair singing performance. Here's the Twin Cities Community Gospel Choir featuring Robert Robinson of Brooklyn Center. Enjoy.